taking what if to the next level. Happy Friday to everyone. It is 1:37 now in the afternoon on this beautiful, beautiful day. Not too hot out there. It's in the 70s, maybe low 80s. So have my windows down on the car. Couple things here on the new project, for lack of a better term. I'm just looking at some things here on planning this as far as feasibility. You know, you can have great ideas, and I'm not calling my idea great. Don't get me wrong. But you can have ideas that that in theory seem like good ideas, and then when you go to work them out in practical terms, well, you know, things don't always work out as well as you'd hoped. One of the things I think that I'm looking at here, let me move you over this way just a bit and turn you this way, and we'll get up like that. The DC power supply, this kind of hinges. Bob pointed out something that needed to be pointed out. Bob's good at stuff like that. I said he was raining on my parade, but you know, is what it is. This all needs to go. First, let me turn you around here just a second. Okay, here's our front. Now, what I'm looking at, let me back you up, and I know it's on its axis or whatever you want to call there, but what I'm looking at here is a 4-part component here on this thing here. If we go by these holes here, we're just going to say there's 4 parts, 4 sections that I can use for different functions. And if I go that route and do that, then this section here is going to have to be my DC power supply. It's going to all have to fit here. That's the meter, that's everything. Here, it's going to have to fit here. So that's if this is what we're doing. So looking at this way here, thinking about mounting this behind this here, like this, it's looking, well, let's see, now I've got it wrong here. Let's go this way. Yeah, this way. Like that. And that's about the limit right there that you can go. I wouldn't want to go any further than that. And if you look at the tape measure, that's around 7 inches. So there's what we have to work with if we go that route. Now, there's the front of the, that mark right there is the front of the panel. If we go back to this far, that's only a little over, well, it's about 5.5 inches to the front. And we don't have quite that much space there, but it's close. Say 5 inches. We'll just say 5 inches. Now if we go back to the wall, as you can see there, we have very close to 7 inches. Well, actually we have over 7 inches. But like I said, that would fit. And what we would have to do is cut our bottom plate 7 inches this way, and it should fit back against the wall this way. Now that means this would have to go, and that's not an impossibility. It doesn't serve any function as far as supporting like that. The pegboard can survive without that very easily. And like I said, we can do without that. That's just one. I'm trying to get, like I said, an idea if this is actually workable or not. Now, that's one aspect that I'm kind of up against. Now, the other one, let's put this back down here, is this. One of the things I've been thinking about for the panel meter I won't say the panel meter, but the DMM portion of this, which is one of the other things I wanted to put on here, is using a little DMM, portable DMM, and mount it in the case right there. And now, using the meter K, I've already taken and separated, and that's the way it is. It's all attached to the front of the unit. So it would be easy enough to mount that. You have 4 holes here to mount to. So down here. And that would be easy enough to mount. Now the problem is, and I say it's a problem because I don't think it's going to fit in there like that. It would be nice if it did, but and it wouldn't be there. It would probably be over here somewhere. But it's really tight doing that. Now I got a smaller one of these. You may recall it, and let me get that out real quick if I can find it easy enough. Let's see. I have meters coming out the yin yang. You guys know that. Okay, here's our smaller version of this, the Victor, and this is an auto ranging device as well. Now it does not have all the functions that the meter K has, but it is smaller and therefore could be made to work easier if I can remember how to get this apart. I don't remember offhand. Surely a way of doing it though. Maybe it comes off this. Yeah, here we go. Alright, there you go. There's what it looks like. Now, obviously, that could be made to fit in there very easily. And, you know, it might work out very well. I don't know if the batteries are still up on this or not. Don't look like it. Oh, yeah, they are. So there you go. There's, it does do diode, it does continuity, it does that. It looks like capacitance. I don't see any frequency on there, but that's not a big deal to me. In fact, this may be the way to go because I think it might be a better deal. But anyway, that's just a couple of the options I have as far as I'd rather have the meter K in there, but again, I don't think it's going to fit. Like I said, that's just one of the things that I'm looking at. It's not totally necessary. I mean, you know, it's a nice meter. I love the meter as far as everything it does and stuff like that. And it would be handy. I'll get out. It'd be handy. But again, it's not. Doesn't have to be. And like I said, it's just. I don't even know what I've done with the. Oh, there's the bottom of it. Let's see if this actually works. Yeah, there we go. See, it's got a nice big readout. I like that part of it. I may try to look for another one of something like this. Now, Bob has one. He gave me a link to, but I think it's even bigger than this one. I think it wouldn't fit. I'm looking probably 6 inches at the best, at the biggest I could go. There's 6 inches right there. That's going down. If I bring that down right there, that's 6 inches. I could get 6 inches in there pretty easy, I think. And so that's going to be our limit on that. Now, on our other items that I want to put in here, I said I didn't care about the frequency that much about the meter doing frequency, but reason being is I have this coming, and I'll show you a picture of that up. This is a 1 to 500 megahertz frequency counter module, and it will mount in there very easily. So that's going to be a good deal if I can get that. Well, I mean, when I get that, I should say. I've already ordered it. So that's that. Now, one of the other sticking points, and everything about this is pretty much a sticking point. I've decided to do away with this part of the meter. I don't need AC and DC on here. I've got AC right there. That's silly on my part. I mean, it would be nice to have all in one unit, but I've got that already. I don't really need that. And there's no sense in buying another Variac and doing all that stuff. The space is kind of limited when you get down to too many different things. So, okay, I've got my DC power supplies here. I've got one of these spaces we're going to save for the meter. Okay? That leaves me 2 spaces left. The frequency counter can go in between here, something like that. It doesn't have to take up a whole space. It's not that big. Again, if you have the meter like this, then you have all your functions there. You have DC, AC, and DC measurement. This goes up to 1,000 volts. DC 750 AC. That's what I wanted, something like that. And I haven't totally ruled this out, by the way. I've been thinking about ways I could make this work. You know me. But anyway, like I said, that's 2 spaces. We'll say 2 spaces for those things. And we're going to count the frequency counter as being able to fit in one of those spaces or near one of those spaces or something. The other thing is the frequency generator, the RF frequency generator. Now, Bob is looking for something can be mounted on this, a digital type meter generator, what do you want to call it? So, don't know about that. He says the difficult part about some of these meters is getting modulation, adding modulation to them. And I understand that. That's not a problem. What I have been considering, and I think it could work out pretty easy. You may recall the IG 102 Heathkit meters that I bought. I have 2 of them, and both of them work. There is a modification to do away with the tubes and use FETs, and I probably would do that as well, if nothing else, to cut down on the heat. But anyway, one of those would fit here on one of these spaces. We're going to call this a space, and that would fit there pretty easy. So that's covered if I want to go that route, or if Bob finds something else, that's fine too. But that would work. I can fit all that in one of these spaces pretty easy. No problem at all. The last thing, and it's not the last thing, but the next thing on the list is a AC voltmeter for using for alignments. Now this voltmeter doesn't have to cover a lot of ranges. It can be very low range because we're going to be having our DMM for actual measuring voltages and things like that. That's not really what this meter for. This meter is going to be just strictly for the movement, measuring the peak on the signal that when we're trying to align it, and that's the only thing it's going to be used for. I'm seeing that is taking up pretty much at least half of one of these spaces. Maybe top half, bottom half, whatever it takes. And then we've got that frequency meter. We can put that in the other part. That's no problem there. Again, the other part of this is the signal tracer. Now, I had mentioned putting the speaker on the end. That would work. I would rather have it on the front, but again, it would work on the end. There's not a big deal about that. Bob said, you know, just simple, take the BDST and use the board, mount the board wherever on there. You know, you could even mount that on the end, I mean, if you wanted to. The whole thing could be mounted on the end, and it would be, you know, pretty much out of the way and be accessible. And so that's not a problem either. So that gives us DC voltage, AC voltage. We get the meter, the DMM, which is essentially a panel meter that measures capacitance. It measures frequency if you wanted it to, temperature, measures AC, DC, current, does all of that. Okay, that's the meter part of it. We have the RF signal generator with not AM, but with the audio frequency out as well and modulation. And we have the DC or the AC wave voltmeter for alignments. And I think that's pretty much covered it again with the putting the signal tracer on the end, getting that out of the way. I think we're getting close to being this being practical. You know, some of the things, like I said, you have to look at on this is seeing if it actually would work. Bob suggested putting a panel or a plate here to shield the transformers from the rest of the equipment, which is a good idea. Keep the magnetic fields away from everything else, and we'll try to again put something here that's not going to be affected by the transformers at all, and you know, keep our, maybe put the meter here, put the maybe something else here, I don't know exactly, but you know, we can do it. It's not a big deal. But I just kind of wanted to go back and look at this again and let you know that I am working on this actively to figure this out. So, you know, I've got some ideas now on what I can fit in and where it will fit and things like that. And I think it's coming along very well. Now, the meter, I'm looking at some of the meters I have. I have that heat kit meter right there, which is huge. That wouldn't even fit in there. That would take up a double space. But, you know, you can find smaller meters. That's not a problem. Even if I had to buy a ready-made type VTVM or something like that to fit in there, a small one, I can do that. So that's that. Again, I think it's... Again, I appreciate you guys' comments. That's some of the ideas I've gotten so far have really been good. And I appreciate those. And like I said, just wanted to go over this on basically how I would do it. And again, things would change obviously even from this point, because like I said, getting this transformer in there is not, you know, a given. First thing I have to do is put that bottom on and get the transformer mounted to where it will fit. And once I do that, then I can go from there as far as the rest of this. In other words, I get this done here and get my meters set to where I've got my output meters here for the DC. And I probably am not going to do the dual functions of this, at least not with two meters. I may just use 1 meter and try to regulate everything off of that. I think that would be the best way to go there. So again, I think that will be my first order of business, getting that part of it done. And once I get that done, then I can go from there as far as adding things to it. And who knows, there may be something else that I might want to add to it. Bob mentioned this module that I've got coming from China. He said something about the what do you call it, not being able to be seen, but I can see that pretty easy. You know, I don't know what he's saying, but he said that frequency module is not going to be visible from wherever, and I think it will be. So I'm not going to worry about that. You know, there's another. That would be a great thing to mount in there, wouldn't it? That'd be neat. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, and I try to add things and stuff like that, but I've talked long enough. I got to do something else. I'm really wanting to find a decent meter that I can use next for this. I really wanted to use this. I don't use this much, and it's a good meter, and I really wish I had it to use. I like it for one thing. It's it allows you to use DC and AC separately like that. Most of the newer meters have one voltage setting, and then you have to press the function key to change it around from AC to DC, and I don't really care for that. I just soon have dedicated settings for that, like this one. And so, like I said, I haven't given up totally on this, but you know, it's not looking good. So I'm thinking, you know, if I could maybe mount it, just even put some spacers in there and maybe mount it up a little higher to where, you know, it was mounted good and solid, but at the same time it was not having to be where it's in there like that. And if I had the whole thing on there, that's what the whole thing would look like. If Bob suggested making a pocket for it, which, you know, is a possibility that you could do, but I'd rather have it mounted if possible. And again, I keep putting it here, but I think it's going to be probably around here or even the other place. I'm not really sure, but that's some of the ideas I'm looking at, and you guys can, like I said, weigh in on them. Let me know what you think. I don't know. Like I said, this is a Friday, and I don't really have anything else going on. Been having some problems with my Toyota. I've got the airbag light is on, and I'm not really sure about it. I'm gonna have to get the manual out and try to find out why. I believe it has a switch on it that allows you to disable the passenger side airbag for children. It lights up, sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. I'm pretty sure that's why the light is lighting up on the dash, but I don't know how to fix that. So I've got to figure out how to fix that. I thought that was a switch there. When you look at it, it looks like it would be a switch where you could switch that on and off, but it doesn't depress. All the rest of the dash things for the hazards, the defroster, things like that, they push in, they click, you know. This one just doesn't do anything. There's actually a piece there that looks like a switch, but it doesn't move. So I don't know if it's gotten jammed or if it actually doesn't move or what, but I've got to work on that. I don't really like having that disabled. So anywho, that's just some of the things I'm thinking about doing and working on this Friday afternoon. And you guys have a pleasant day. Let me know what you think again about this whole deal here, and I guess we will talk to you later. Thanks for watching, and we'll see ya.